Okay, we are recording. Well, guys, it's what, you can't hear? Oh, okay, why can't you hear me? You can't hear me at all. Ah, that's interesting. You can hear John? Okay, give me a wave if you can hear. Mike, you can hear. Ben, can you hear? Lisa? Darren, sort of. Adam, not really. Maybe. John, you're okay. Can you hear? Yep, okay. I have changed my microphone here, so let me just try this, see if this works better. Is that working any better? Can anybody hear me any better? No? Okay, we go back here and we go back to this one. Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah, good, good, good. Okay, we'll stick with that one and we'll go with it. All right. Well, on the weekend, I went over to Melbourne, over to the function in Victoria, and spent some time with Ben Gardner, and Peter Benson, and Gillian, and Trevor at the function over in Melbourne, the end of the year function over there. And it was really good. Not that that should be a surprise, but it was really good. It was like a goal-setting function, and it just help to reinforce and refresh a few things that you know, but sometimes you forget that you know. And so it was really good, and we had a great time. And then after the function, I shot up to Kilmore, and we sponsored a lady in depth up there, so she's all excited. She's waiting for a 30-day pack, and so that's all good. And it's really interesting. 4 years ago when I went, was it 4 years ago? Coming up 4 years, a bit over 3 years ago when I went to my first function in Brisbane. Part the way through that function, I came out of there and I got on the phone and I started ringing a few people, making some more contacts, just to get this thing kicked off. And one of the guys I rang, he was a bloke I'd sold a hydrogen unit to, Wayne Kingston. And Wayne's, one of nature's gentlemen, lovely bloke. And so I ended up sponsoring Wayne. And Wayne's been a loyal product user ever since. Loves the products, just loves it. His wife is now using them. She was with another multi-level, but she's as happy as Larry doing this. And then he sponsored one of his mates, and now we've sponsored his mate's girlfriend. And so you never know where this will go to and how long it might take, but you persist until. Jimmy Smith, you persist until. And so, a lot of those phone calls I made that day went to absolutely nowhere. Nobody got in, nothing happened, but one did. And here we are nearly 3 years later, and we're starting to build a little bit of depth. So you never know, right? You never, ever know. So one of the things that Corinne and I have been talking about and wanting to get sorted was a little bit of housekeeping before we get on with the night. We wanted to give next year the best possible shot at getting kicked off early, getting kicked off right, and having the right program to kick off with. And so what we've come up with is a team building workshop at the workshop. All right. So, you put your car or your vehicle in for a tune-up, grease and oil change, so to speak, get rid of the fault codes out of the thing so as it's running right. And so we're going to a workshop to do the same thing. And so we'll have a workshop at the Williston Mechanical Workshop on January the 14th. That's a Sunday. And Trevor and Linda are coming over for it. Right? So we are going to kick this thing off. Now, let me explain something to you all. Oh, somebody's written me a chat. Let me just see if I can follow the chat. Look at that. Go on. Good on you, Peter Benson. Yeah, like a Holden, mate. We need a tune-up, right? And of course, Holdens need tune-ups. Fords never last long enough to get there. But anyway, there we go. Hey, so I've got to tell you, that next year, all of us in Team FSI have got something amazing coming. Absolutely amazing. Trevor, I don't know when that man sleeps, but it's not for long and it's not often, I can tell you. But we've been tossing a few things backwards and forwards. And give me a wave if you've had a look at some of that Napoleon Hill stuff on Team FSI that Trev's got up there. All right? Okay. Now, let me tell you this. Please, to give yourself the absolute best, and I know Maria has, she's gone out and printed the books, she's got it all, right? But to give yourself the best opportunity, the best kickoff, the best position you can possibly put yourself in between now and early next year, please go through as much of that Napoleon Hill material as you can possibly lay your hands on. Listen to it over and over and over again. Because when you find out what Team FSI is going to launch through the Chatham system after Christmas, you will be blown away. Now, the other thing was, remember I said last week, those of you who go out and build more consultants, the quicker you build more consultants, the better off you're going to be. I can't tell you, but I can tell you this. It's bigger than I thought. It's much bigger than I thought. And it's a mindset. You'll hear Trevor talk about building a network is just a mind game. It is just a mind game. And this is where the Jimmy Smith clips that are on Team FSI and the podcast, right, and the UK call and the Napoleon Hill, if you spend your free time, and even if your time's not free, make sure you set aside some time to listen to that material, watch that material, understand the concepts that are going to come at you through that material. This time next year, you will not believe where your life will be at. This time next year, you will look back, well, probably with amazement, but with belief that, yeah, that's what I expected. It is going to be staggeringly fast. It's going to be huge. And when you understand, after we've got all this stuff sorted, there is going to be some growth in this group like crazy. And the good part about it is, Corinne and I, our whole goal is to help you guys on this call, you guys that are plugged into what we're doing, have the biggest share of FSI. Right? We're going to lead from the front because we got the best people. Right? We're going to lead from the front. Now, I want to play, well, before I do that, I'm going to play you a little bit of an audio. There's no video or anything with it, but before I do that, I've added to my little dream concepts. So let me share the screen, and I'll go and get this. I'll go there. Come on, there we go. All right, so this is what we looked at the other day. You know, you could just relax there, right? And can you imagine? I want you to dream build on this stuff. I want you to just to soak it in and imagine you there, looking out over that, staying in one of those bures on the water. And if you've got to go in a boat, well, you might as well go on a fast one. You know, put the hammer down, get there. But then you can come back and relax because you don't have a job. There's no time frames. It's all good. We'll just sit there and chill out by the pool. Or we could go and jump on the yacht and cruise over to a couple of other islands. We don't have to captain that thing. We don't have to pilot it. We have someone that does that. And there we are of a night with our lights on so as we can see the fish on the coral reef. These things exist. And money's no issue. We just sit there and relax and dip in and out of the pool. And you can believe that some of the people we're going to ask said no. They said no to this. And they missed out on these magnificent sights. Paintings that could be taken all over the world, Lisa. But then if we really had to get somewhere in a rush, we'd want this little sucker. That's got twin 1,500 horsepower in it. Jet motors. Man. But then we arrived, we got home. This is our beachfront house. And we just got there just as the sun was going down. So that was nice. And then we had to go down the shops. We only bought a litre of milk because the damn thing's got no boot in it, but who cares? We got there quick. And yes, I will persist until I succeed. Why? Because it's worth it. And there's your office, Darren Hutchie. Just sitting there, swinging on that thing, hanging off the end of the phone. And when you get back home, you jump in your car and you drive home again. And so our dreams keep expanding. We've gone from just having beachfront holidays to now we've got boats and cars. That's how our dreams expand. So what I want to do is I want to play a little bit of an audio. It goes for 16 minutes and I've got no pictures to show you for 16 minutes. And I sincerely hope that you can hear this really, really clearly. Now this is taken as an excerpt off a tape and he is talking about the old Amway game. But it doesn't matter what he's talking about. The principles, the fundamentals are exactly the same. The beautiful part about this is this pays a hell of a lot better than the other one did. It really does. So let's have a listen to this guy. Okay, where is my music? And let me see, where did this guy go to? I've got to find him. He was there. There he is.
Great, because I actually spent some time thinking about this. And because I think it's an important element in success in whatever you do. And it seems that everything we do in life or that happens to us, including life itself, can be divided into stages. And certainly, every challenge in life which we undertake for our enrichment or for our benefit can be divided into specific segments. In the initial segment, the first step or the beginning, always involves the desire for change and the contemplation of the reward or dividend, the personal evaluation of what can be gained, the inner projection of a positive outcome. You begin the diet and the fitness program because you imagine a new, thinner, more powerful you. You have a sincere desire for change, and it involves that physique that's currently staring you in the face. And you, you suck in your stomach and stick out your chest and try to imagine what you will look like, as you pursue this for an objective. And so, basically, stage one is a desire for change, a sincere, deeply rooted desire for change. Now, when we try to define the location of these behavior-changing feelings or emotional yearnings, we rarely identify them as originating from the head where logic resides. We're all too well aware of the fact that oftentimes in our lifetime, logic and reason have ordered us to take a step we have steadfastly refused to move an inch. We were immobilized. In the past, our fears have prevented us from overcoming inertia. Our lack of discipline has been an insurmountable impediment to our growth. Our lack of faith in our ability to succeed has imprisoned us in the parameters of business as usual. The well thought out options for a new direction for our future are slain by our own highly developed sense of unworthiness, which holds us captive in our perception of reality. Logic, the message from the head, tells us to change, escape, move on, but we do not be able to seem to respond. We stand paralyzed by our fears and doubts, concerned about what others might think. Logic alone will not move us. You won't change or take a new direction simply because you figured out it's the best thing to do. It's not only a matter of the head. When we talk about the few brief moments in our life that have led to decisions that have been monumental or habit-changing, the future-altering, extraordinary.
All right, that's a bit hard to hear, is it? Yep, okay. Well, I'll try and paraphrase a little bit of this. We'll stop sharing this. Sorry, guys. It is absolutely awesome. The guy doing it is a guy called Tim Foley, right? And the tape was called Valuable Personal Assets. Now, Tim Foley was a professional football player for the Miami Dolphins. And when he retired, somebody sponsored him into a network. And he's talking about how logic resides in the head. Logic says we should build this. Logic says that, you know, we should lose the weight. Logic says we should get fit. We have an impetus to move, but instead of moving, we stand steadfast in the face of logic. It's not until we engage the emotion of the heart. And it is when the emotion of the heart kicks in, it supersedes the logic. Logic has nothing to do with it. It's the emotion. And he said, we all sit there in our couch, on our easy chair, and we criticize from the comfort of our home. We criticize the player down on the field. We sit there from that point and from our viewpoint. He said it's time to come down out of the spectators' chairs, time to come down out of the stands and come down to the playing field, come down to where the sweat lives. And yes, you'll be ridiculed. And yes, people will call out, like he said, when he was playing football, he did something wrong. He said, the whole stadium took my name in vain. He said, that's damaging to your self-esteem. He said, what he did best at football was get hurt. He said, am I going to end up in hospital next time? Is it going to be my neck? He said, in this, we fight emotionally not to get involved in the battle. We're scared of the battle. We're scared of the rejections. We're scared of the work we've got to put in. We're fearful of all that. But if the passion of the heart says, go, you've got to do this. When you are moved by the passion of the heart, you overcome the fear, the rejection, you overcome all these things. And then one day you wake up and you're no longer fearful of the battle. In actual fact, you love the battle. You love the battle. You can't imagine a day without the battle. You've fallen in love with the thing that what you were once terrified of. It is the passion of the heart. You see, I know in a tiny little way how Jimmy Smith feels. If I could get across to you guys what I'm seeing coming for you, if I could get that across to you, you wouldn't even sit there to watch the rest of this webinar. You would be out the door, you would be on the phone, you would be doing something. Because this is going to just get so damn big. And each one of you, every one of you, can play a major part. You know, the game of life goes on. We must all play our part. Imagine this. What if Team FSI became the biggest part of Isogenics Australia, overthrowing everybody else combined in both numbers and incomes? What if you were to play a part in that? You were a major part of that. Can you imagine? Right? Can you imagine, like you hear people talk about Jen and Jono Patch. You hear people talk about, what's the young guy's name? Yep, you know. Yeah, anyway, you hear them talking about him. Brett and Sammy Davis.
Jackson Parr.
Jackson Parr. Thank you, John. Right? I knew somebody would remember. But instead of talking about those people, they're talking about John Abbott. They're talking about Paul Jarvis. They're talking about Ben Gardner. They're talking about Lisa. They're talking about Dean and Kay. They're talking about Darren Hutchins and Adam Chesney and Peter Benson and Maria. And they're talking about Mike Stevenson. Because these are the new shakers and movers. These are the guys that changed the face of Isogenics Australia. That then went on to change the face of Isogenics. From people down in your group. Now, give me a little wave if you're having a bit of a struggle picturing yourself in that position. Just give me a little wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Here we go, guys. We're just going to do a little bit of tapping, right? And here's what we're going to say. It is now easy for me to believe that I am playing a major part in Isogenics. It is now easy for me to believe that I am playing a major part in Team FSI in Isogenics. It is easy for me to believe that I am playing a major part in Team FSI in Isogenics. It is easy for me to believe that I am playing a major part in Team FSI in Isogenics. It is easy for me to believe, that I'm playing a major part in Team FSI in Isogenics. Take a big breath. Now think about this. It's now 2019. You've broken your first business center. You're making over $15,000 a week. You're an Isogenics millionaire. And when I tell you it can happen just that quick, I'm telling you it's going to happen just that quick. Trevor and Linda and Corinne and I are putting together a program that is going to create leadership groups that will just blow your mind. Right? This is going to be. Look, I've been around all sorts of different things, and when I tell you that these leadership groups are going to be unparalleled anywhere in network marketing or in industry, well, I'll put it to you this way. Here's something really to try and get your head around. I'm painting a picture for you so big, so fantastic that you're just not going to be able to grasp what's going on until you see it. But imagine this. Our leadership groups will be so influential that the last time anything that influential happened, they wrote the Declaration of Independence in the United States. Imagine being able to create millionaires out of isogenics. Once this ball starts to roll, imagine being able to create millionaires, Team FSI millionaires, out of the Chatham system every month. Every month. So when I say it's vital that, you know, I know we got Christmas and we've got to do all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's great. But understand this. For those who can turn Christmas into maybe 1 or 2 good contacts, get them going. It will blow your mind what will come out of it. There's some stuff. Look, I'm just bubbling. I wish I could tell you. I just wish I could tell you the stuff that's coming. But all I can do is encourage you to go out and build consultants. Build consultants. No matter what you got to do, build consultants. That's the most important thing right now. Do the first step. Build consultants. That's the key. Right? Now, if anybody's got any little negative voice issues, right, and you're not familiar with EFT, now for you guys that are familiar with EFT, you know how to handle it. You can handle it yourself. Logic says you should do it. It is the emotion of the heart that will drive you to do it or not do it. It is the emotion of the heart. So, guys, it's one of these things that, you know, the passion that's going to take to build this is going to have to run hot and deep. It's time to come down out of the spectator's stand. It's time to come down to the playing field. It's time to come to where the sweat lives, to overcome the fear, to get into the battle that scares you so much, the battle that scares all of us so much. But until we get through the battle and fall in love with the battle, then it'll always be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Fall in love with the battle. Now, you're never going to decide to fall in love with the battle. You can prepare to do that, but one day you'll wake up and you will love the battle. It's not going to be a decision. It's just going to be, I got there. And there's got to be a lot of frustration and a lot of why isn't it happening and a lot of all this sort of stuff that's going to go on. It's going to test you to see whether you're prepared to stay in the battle. Because the glories, the riches are only ever going to be made available for those who are both mentally and emotionally prepared. That's why I want to encourage you to get into all the Jimmy Smith stuff you can, to get into all the Napoleon Hill stuff that Trevor's got on Team FSI, and just bury yourself in there over Christmas. It's all on your phone. Drive around with your earplugs in. Go out and work outside in your backyard with your earplugs in. Do whatever. But this is the most valuable thing you can invest in right now. And your heart is the passion for the dream. The dream, I mean, we've all got different dreams, cars, boats, houses. They're lovely things. They're really great. And don't get me wrong. The quicker I can burn this crappy old house down, the better I'd feel about it. Drive a bulldozer through it. I'll fire that caterpillar up out the front. I'll mow down that damn tree. I'll sink the blade straight through the front door and I'll laugh all the time I'm doing it. I think I'll tell Corinne to get out first, but then we'll just drive the bulldozer through her. You know, that'd be great. But that's not what drives me. What I get passionate about is building these leadership groups Trev and I have come up with. Watching you guys come through, watching you guys put together what it's going to take to be in this game. To watch you guys stand up on stage and be recognized at the pin levels and the star rankings or whatever the heck it is, that you're a double, triple scoop or something. Guys, we've got Trevor and Linda coming over on the 14th of January. We are doing a workshop at the workshop. It's a team building workshop. And I'll tell you, what's going to come out of that weekend, out of that Sunday, will be absolutely staggering. Because I hope, for those of you who want to get the most out of it, you've got to put the most preparation in beforehand. If you don't prepare by listening to the Napoleon Hill stuff, by listening to Jimmy Smith, by doing some EFT, do some affirmations using EFT. Write out some really good affirmation cards and tap while you're going through them. Right? Absolutely amazing. We are going to have a ball. I tell you what, this next year, you guys are going to be doing your own Zoom calls for your own groups. Right? Why? Well, they won't all fit on this one, and this one's only going to be for the leadership. That's you guys and a few of the people you're going to bring in into the leadership groups. It is going to get fair income. If you knew, I said it before, but if you knew what's coming, right now, you just click off this damn call and go and get on the phone and start ringing people. That's what you do. You wouldn't wait. All right? I got tomorrow. Does any, hang on, I'm just going to unmute everybody for a second. Hang on, where am I? Where is it? Let me get out of that. Where's my unmute everybody? There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. All right, we're all unmuted. Does any of you get a hunch or a thought or a feeling that you should talk to Billy or ring Fred or do anything like that? Does anybody get any hunches?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Do you instantly follow up on that hunch? I'll take that as a no, right? We'll put that one aside, right? Let me tell you something. By not following up on that hunch, you just lost a fortune. You just gave up absolute fortunes. I'll give you an example. What was the Monday previous? Right? I wanted to go down and have a look at this marketing seminar. Hang on, Corinne's coming to talk to me yet later. I'll put you all back on mute again. All right. Monday last week, not this Monday gone, Monday last week, I booked in to go to this all whiz bang internet marketing, market stuff online, blah, 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 free seminar. Now, anything that's a free seminar, you can bet your bippy that at the end of it, there's $1,000 hook hanging off the end of it to buy some program. And I wasn't going to buy the program. The reason I wanted to go down there was I thought everybody that's there is in the looking zone. They're gone looking because they want to make more money. So I thought, well, that'll be the right place to be. And so I'm down there and I got talking to one bloke before we went in. He was an interesting sort of fellow. We sat beside each other and these guys were going through all their figures and what they've achieved and everything else. And both he and I looked at each other and said, well, hell, we wouldn't get out of bed for that. And anyway, after they dropped their $997 bombshell to buy our 3-day program, I leaned over to him and said, I'm going for coffee. Would you like one? So we got up and went. Now, Here's what happened. On the Monday morning when I got up, I just said to Corinne, I'm not going. And then I thought, oh, yeah, I will. Because I had to go and get a haircut over at Nicole's that afternoon. And it started at 12:30. I said, oh, look, I'll drive the car down to Salisbury. I'll get on the train at Salisbury. And then when I come back from Adelaide, I can get in the car and go straight up to TJ and Nicole's. Well, I got on the train. The train only went as far as Mawson Lakes. And it stopped. I had to get on a bus. And I thought, oh, God, get on a bus. I had to walk around the other side of the station and come back again. And I pointed in that direction, and then a little voice said, no, go. All right, I got on the bus. Well, we took the scenic route into the city, and I got off the bus, and I'm walking into this hotel, and I thought, hell, this is exciting. I don't take the bus anywhere. I just got off this bus, and I got no idea how the hell to catch a bus back to Mawson Lakes. Anyway, it didn't matter. So I go in and get talking to this guy. As we stood up to leave, a bloke handed us a leaflet each about, it was a puzzle game, a board game, and a fundraiser thing. And so we went out and had our coffee, and turns out that he's pretty knowledgeable on networks, and I'll tell you more about that next week. But this other guy, he's very, very like-minded sort of fellow. And I rang him and we had a chat, and I've sent him some emails. And anyway, we got back to communicated again, and he contacted me and said that could we catch up tomorrow, being Thursday morning in the city, so as he can get started. Right? Now, had I not followed my hunches and turned around and come home because I was all ticked off about the damn train and the bus and all the rest of the stuff, that's one bloke I would have missed. Now, to say that he knows a few people is an understatement. He's an ex-United Nations dignitary of Caring for the Children organisation. So he knows people from all over the world, and he knows people all over Australia. But I would have missed him had I not followed my hunch. Next time you get a hunch, next time you get prompted to pick up the phone and ring somebody, I'd do it. You know, I really would. I would do that. Why? That might be the next person to break their business centre. That might be the person to help you go millionaire. It might not. But they might be the one that gets in, orders enough product to keep you in long enough to find the next person. Follow your hunch. Always follow your hunch. Now, how many people have gone through that Napoleon Hill? Yep, you've been through Napoleon Hill. Anybody done that little affirmation one that Trev's got there, chapter 5 of the big one? Yep. Yeah. Okay, guys, look, there is going to be, within Team FSI, there is going to be some leadership change, not changes, but leadership programs put in place. They'll be performance-based. They'll be character-based, right? And they will be knowledge-based, not knowledge of product, not knowledge of bonus structure, but more knowledge of self. Know thyself. And the more we get into that material, and the more consultants we build, the more amazing your life will become. So, here's what we're going to do. For those of you who are able to, please keep January the 14th free. It will probably kick off at 10 o'clock. We will have we're probably looking at where we're going to be. We've got plenty of fridge space. So we're going to have a shared whatever, bring some chops. There's a barbecue and everything else. So we can have a shared lunch and a shared tea. We can sit around have a coffee or a few beers or whatever afterwards, whatever you want to do, but it's a BYO everything because it's a workshop. There's no tables and chairs. So we've got to bring everything we need, all right? So if you've got a fold-up chair, throw that in the boot. If not, throw a cushion in and sit on the ground. And it's pretty casual. But that workshop will literally change the direction of your isogenics business, which in turn will change the direction of your life. We're building this team. Right? We're going to build this team to, you know, the rest of the world of isogenics will one day sit there and say, where the hell did all this come from? Oh, we had a workshop at the workshop. Right? We had a workshop at the workshop. Don't you guys have workshops in the workshop? That's where it came from. It came from the workshop in the workshop. So again, this year, the South Australian group of the Chatham system, of the FSI team, is going to kick off and lead the way. January 14. That'll become a landmark day. But remember what I said, we've got to do our homework first. We've got to listen to as much Jimmy as we can. We've got to listen to as much Napoleon Hill stuff as we can that Trev's got out there. And not just listen to it, but go through some of those exercises. And truly, if you're stumbling and you're not getting the impetus that you want, do some tapping on it. Do some tapping. Get the EFT going. Small price to pay. You know, Trev wants to break his, Trevor and Linda's goal is to break their business centre by the end of next year. That's their goal. My goal is to do whatever the hell I can to make sure it happens about the middle of the year. Right? And you will be, I hope, you will be a massive, massive, massive part of it. Because you see, the dream's open to all of us. The dream says, come on. The dream says, I'm here. Come on. Persist. Ogmandino, persist until you succeed. Persist. No. Don't back up. Look, crap happens. Crap happens anyway. And crap's going to happen whether you're building this thing or not. Why? Because that's life. So it might not be convenient, but do it anyway. It might not look like the right time, but do it anyway. It might be Christmas, but do it anyway. Because January the 14th is coming fast. And I would encourage you to get on to anybody that you've got sponsored and not just mention it, promote it. Promote, 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 promote. Man, you're not going to believe it. These guys are coming over from Melbourne. They're millionaires. You've got to come and sit down, talk to them. We're going to do this workshop in the workshop thing. It's going to be a great day. You can meet all the other guys in the group. Promote. Every time you see them, promote. Promote, 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 promote. Don't just mention it once or send them a text message or put it on Facebook. That doesn't work. They need to hear the excitement in your voice. They need to hear the urgency in your voice. They need to know that this is important. And it's going to be a wild, wild day, I can tell you. You'll walk out of there, you'll have a head on you like a bull moose. You'll have a brain expansion headache that feeding and it'll take 4 days and 10 shakes just to get rid of. Right? You'll have a bottle of product B just to get over it. Right? You'll have to take the whole damn bottle just to feel normal again. If you knew what I know, like I said, you would hang up from this conference call and you would pick up the phone and start ringing. You know what? Everybody that you're going to ring tonight, they're sitting at home watching TV wondering how the hell we're going to survive Christmas. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? What happens after Christmas? How do we pay the credit card? What happens if my job goes south next year? What happens if I don't get a teaching contract? What if this? What if that? And you're sitting there holding on to the best kept secret in the world? So guys, that's it for tonight. I'm just going to stop recording.